All right. Welcome to the Focus Podcast number 24. And hey, how's it going? Still in my living room. And let me turn this down. And I think we're in lockdown 5.0 now. Fucking can't keep track anymore. But whatever. I'm stuck here. We're all stuck inside, so I might as well just keep doing this stuff and have fun connecting. So I don't want to waste any time today, and I don't have a lot of time with my next guest, and she's a busybody, and so I'm gonna bring her in right away, and hopefully you can get the split screen going right, and let's give her a go. Hey,
Hello.
Neha. Oh, try. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm just gonna get my split screen going. There we go.
Hell yeah.
We did it. How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
I'm great. I love the background.
Some
So,
last minute
yeah,
shit.
it's like uh, it's definitely a musician's background.
I actually ended up coming home last minute, so this is my humble abode back in Mississauga.
Oh, you're in Saw.
I'm in Mississauga. Yeah.
Wow, you're closer than I thought. You're
I
just down the
know.
road. Well, I'm in Scar. I'm basically like in Scarborough. I'm the beaches. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So how's it going?
it's good. It's been a bit of a crazy couple of days. It was actually in the past like 2 days that this was all decided, and my dad came and picked me up from Ottawa. So I had like 24 hours to pack and get everything together and get home for the week. So it's been a little crazy, but we're here. It's nice. I have home cooked food, so
That's the best.
it's
That's
the
great.
best.
I'm glad you can see family. Has it been a while since you like got up and gone anywhere? Like how long has it been?
So I was home last for Christmas, and then all of the back-to-back lockdowns happened, and you can't really justify going anywhere at that point.
Yeah,
But now that the entire household is vaccinated, I had a little bit of time off work. It was kind of the perfect time to just come home, um, see the fam. I'm probably going to be working pretty intensely for the summer, so I don't assume I'll be able to come home till at least like October-ish. Yeah.
gotcha. Well, get it in while you can. And I would just assume that Toronto is like kind of in the same restriction lockdowns as Ottawa is. I know we have a lot bigger population. I think there's like tighter restrictions in Toronto, but I think kind of the same, really.
Just based on the spread in Toronto, I know there's more cases in Toronto than Ottawa at the moment.
Yeah,
The last time I checked, Ottawa was almost down to double digits, which is crazy. Um, but yeah, I think we're all in the same boat. I think we're all just hoping and praying that this ends.
yeah, whenever. And I hadn't been out of this neighborhood in since Christmas, pretty much. And I went up and saw my sister probably like the end of February for a week or so up in Newmarket, which is like an hour north of here. But that's it. Like I just been in this neighborhood pretty much, and I can't complain. It's a great neighborhood. It's got the beach and everything. So, but I went out and did a couple things the other day, and I took the subway, and I was just doing things like work. Like I'm kind of like setting up some shoots and stuff, and I'm like, I had the weirdest feeling like I've done this a million times, obviously, but it's just I hadn't done it in so long, and it's just such a kind of weird feeling. You know what I mean? Like and to me, it's like I can't go back to the way I was hustling before. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't. It's not appealing to me anymore, and I like this. Like I want to do stuff like this. I want to do shoots for artists and stuff like that, and just my own kind of stuff. Um, But as far as like running around the city and working for somebody else, I'm not into that anymore. Or
It's
bigger
a hard
companies, like
mindset to have.
yeah,
And I think
yeah.
when you're
Like I
like
did live
working
television for 15 years, right? So I'm just kind of like over it. Yeah,
people.
but I'm sad because tomorrow night the Leafs are playing the Habs in the playoffs for the first time since 1979, and I'm not a part of it. It's like I've worked for this team for 15 years, and it's like the one time you would like to be, there and involved is
Yeah.
just like, but whatever. It's a little discouraging too because you're looking at other teams in the league, and they like fans are in there and stuff like that, and it's tough. And anyways, for the viewers, I work for the Leafs in the in-game presentation, so it's like been out of work for like 400 days, and you're the last person I saw on the road. You're the last person I did a show with on the road. You're the last person I did a live show with,
I was
and
gonna say, I don't know if you remember, but right before we started this, I was on Facebook and I was looking at memories. 2 years ago, you, me, and Justin were playing at Mavericks.
yeah, let me pull that. It
It
wasn't a
was
day. It was it's the beginning of June.
oh,
That's the first show I did with you guys, with you, Jay, and Honest Racket. Those guys.
yes, that's the
Yes.
one.
It was a great show. Like tons of people. You guys brought so many people. I was so impressed. And I do have a picture. Here it is.
Oh,
That's from
that's me.
Mavericks. Yeah. Cause
Oh,
I'm a photographer and videographer. And when you guys are playing, I've been grabbing like tons of, B-roll and shots and stuff like that. And here's another shot I think I got. Yeah. And that was the first time we played together, I believe. And I think I just the top of my head thinks I think I've played with you the most on the road. So you're top of the charts with me. I think we've done 4 shows together, and now this is the second podcast, and we'll go back to that because we did a podcast at this place. It was Avant Garde,
yeah.
and we were in the back room having this little podcast, and here's Neha and I discussing this pandemic that's coming, and we're just kind of nonchalantly talking about it.
So
It's just
bad.
like no idea what the fuck's going. But you can check that podcast out. It's podcast 14.
I
Uh,
think that's on how wrong we were.
I know, like everything, like almost. But how would you know, right? Like it's like I was in we were discussing before. I was in Seattle and Portland in the beginning or the end of January of 2020, and while we were there, Paul was like, who was touring with me. He's on his phone all the time. He's like, they're locking down these cities in China, or like 10 million people and all this stuff, and I'm like, holy smokes. And but it's not really registering because it's not affecting me yet, and
Yeah.
and then yeah, we're talking about it, and then all of a sudden it happens. But I started that tour with you. I did a tour the first week of March, and I basically did like 7 shows in like 7 nights. I did Peterborough, Ottawa, Montreal, um, Quebec City, Sherbrooke, and then I came back Ottawa again. But you and I were at this place called Poor Boy. Yeah. And it was the Monday, I believe. It was like I have a good memory with like dates and stuff like that. It was the Monday, the 9th, and while we were waiting to play, I was sitting there watching the Toronto Raptors play in Utah, right?
Yeah.
So here we are in this lowly bar, and there's a couple people. It's a Monday night, so we have like 3 or 4 people come watch, and here I am thinking like, oh fuck, it's like what do I have to do to get some more people here, and you kind of you don't be too negative, but you're just like trying to like improve things in your mind, right?
Of
And
course.
I had no idea the blessing that I was getting sitting there in that bar in Ottawa, because that Friday, so we were there on the Monday, and then that Friday I was supposed to do a Raptor game. They were supposed to come home. and they were playing Utah, and the Utah Jazz players, those are the 3 players that tested positive right away. And there's this footage of one of the guys on the Utah Jazz goes and does a press conference, and he mockingly touches the mic, and all, the reporters put all their microphones up there, and he mocks it, and then he gets it, and then like a bunch of players get it. So it's like, if they interacted with the Raptors, there's a chance one of the Raptors would have got it. And then my job, I'm like up close with the Raptors. I'm like the closest anybody gets on the crew. I'm basically with them in the tunnel, and I run out with them on the camera. I'm on the court with them, so I'm like very close to these guys. So it's like I might have dodged a bullet, like I might have gotten it without knowing it,
Yeah.
and then I realized that later, like 2 days later, the NBA shut down, and I was like, whoa, yeah, it's a blessing in disguise, It was like not didn't have to work on Friday, and
That's
yeah, it's
crazy
been
because I feel like
yeah.
March was when people were starting to take it really seriously. Like it was spreading like wildfire. I
Yeah, when we
remember.
shut down, like the week after, and then start shutting stuff down, I think people, yeah, were taking it
Yeah.
seriously after that. Yeah, so it's weird to look back on that and kind of like, wow, it was
Crazy.
missed missed one. But you've been in Ottawa the whole time, and I've been stuck here, and so I've been asking all the artists like what they've been doing through this time, and some people have got on social media more. Some people have scaled back. Some people have gone into production. Some people, and that's like one part of the question, and then the other part of the question is like, um, yeah, we'll just start with that question first. So what?
What have I been up to?
Yeah,
Well, the pandemic kind of, I'm sure as it did with everybody, hit me like a bus on a
yeah,
bad day. That March was the most shows I've ever booked in my life in a month.
yeah. I
I was
remember.
at 11 and counting. 3 of them, I was the intermission for the Vagina Monologues over at Carleton University, and it was really cool to just be on a stage in front of like a filled theater kind of a thing, but everything was canceled, and that was like
Fuck.
every month was just getting better for me. Like every month I was booking more. Every month I was connecting with artists that I've looked up to, and artists were asking me to open for them who I've been staring at on Instagram for years now. So it was hard. That came as a like it took away all of my motivation. And that summer, I didn't write a single song. I was in no mood. I was so
No.
sad about it all. I just wanted shows to come back and I wanted a reason to like write all of this music. So I actually found it very hard to stay focused on music and stay motivated in terms of like keeping up with my social presence or keeping up with the people that I should be keeping up with. I just couldn't find the energy to after that. Which I will say, I do think it was important that I got some, relaxation time, I guess. Like, I
Yeah.
really just stepped out and I took the summer to sit in the sun, read the books, just like relax. Which we could still go to the beach then because the numbers weren't like horrible
Yeah,
last
like
summer.
June, and yeah, June,
Yeah, when
July.
it got
Yeah.
better and we were in the green zone, and I started my little trio with my friends so I could have a reason to have to stay on time for things when other people depend on you. Um, but then it wasn't until around end of August when I was asked to be in City Folk, their like
Hmm.
virtual festival, that I was like, okay, maybe it's time I start just like picking things up again, try to write something new for the show, like make some contacts through this show. Which it was still slow, and I'll say now it's still been slow. The last thing I really did music wise was in December,
Hmm.
and I've tried TikTok. The algorithm is not feeling me. It's fine.
Not yet. Yeah.
uh, and it is what it is. I'm also just very bad with being consistent on social media. It's
Yeah.
never been my thing.
That's what it's
Um,
about, really, just like consistency. Yeah.
and I can't do it. I Even when I
Yeah.
make a schedule, the fact that you need to create that content to upload. And with all the content I release, I'm such a perfectionist that I can't have that stream of content. I need to work on something for quite a while before I'm happy with it, and then I want to release it to everybody. So this pandemic has definitely been a little bit of like a stop for me. Um Actually, something my boss said to me when I was talking to her about how much it sucked to feel this way was she was like, there were two types of people going into this pandemic, and you need to understand that there were the kinds of people who were doing fine in their lives, or they were maybe at a bit of a lower place in their lives, or just a bit more like consistently like just living their lives, and this pandemic served as a break, a breather, and a way for them to regroup and up everything because they were home all the time, and that worked out incredibly for them.
Yeah.
But there were the people who were doing a lot with what they wanted to be doing, and this pandemic stopped all of that because they were already on the train they needed to be on. And I was like, that was me.
Yeah.
Like, that's horrid. But I mean, it is what it is. Things happen for a reason. It sucks, but it's
Yeah.
given like a huge perspective on life and a huge perspective on being able to do what you want to do, go where you want to go while you can, like talk to the people you want to talk to, stay safe, for the love of God. um, just it did something, and I think it's interesting to see the way that music has taken over the internet during this.
Yeah, and I like to think of it as kind of like a renaissance, you know what I mean? It's like in that time things change too, like they learn to separate the drinking water from sewage water, and there's many outbreaks around that time too, and like art and music seem to like bring people into another realm, you know what I mean? I feel like that this is, our time to do that, right? And it's like, um I like you were I'm going to touch on like the two type of people you said that went into the pandemic. I feel like I was like both, throughout the whole thing. Like I
Mhm.
had, like you, I had so much salute. I had so much momentum going on too. Like I had almost 20 shows in the bag by the time I was done with you on March 9th. Like I was 2 months in and I had almost 20 shows under my belt. And I was like looking at like Texas and like hooking up with people in Philly and New York. And I was ready to rock this that year. And it just, came crashing down. And then I think what happened is that it really didn't sink into me like what was really happening. So I took all that momentum and kept going, right?
Yeah.
And then as I kept going, I had all this backed up material with me that I kind of helped me keep busy and just keep like pumping material out, right? And
Mhm.
then I think right around the summer, the same thing, like it all just came crashing down for me. And it was just like, whoa. And then I had to just like stop everything and just like realize that I've been holding so much stuff up for like 10 years. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Mhm.
here's this moment that's been given to you to just like reset, like work on my health, work on, mental clarity, work on so many other things. And I'm kind of looking at it as like the break I needed all this time. And in order for me to continue this and do it at a level that I want to do it, it's like it's giving me this time to reorganize everything and reassess everything too, and catch up and also take a break, and I feel like I'm getting to that point again where it's like I've been busy throughout the whole winter. It's like because it's been a second lockdown, and I feel like I just need like another little break, and then I'm ready to go again. Like whenever we can actually get out and do some touring or something. But I've been speaking with a lot of artists about like what their vision is coming out of this, and there's a few artists that I've worked with in Toronto that we were able to do a couple of live shows at the Painted Lady. Like we managed to sneak some in and do some live broadcasting from the venue. And so I think like like stuff like this and the live streaming is going to be an integral part of live music and venues in the future to come, you know. And I think it's,
Mhm.
and like we always talk when we're hanging out before the show and stuff like that, and I always feel like that the venues are kind of taking this shift anyways, you know what I mean? And I think the pandemic kind of just threw it into a whole whirlwind. And you know, in Ottawa too, there was already a transition kind of with a lot of the venues, and we were in some venues that were kind of like, you know, their days are almost kind of numbered. um how do you see this moving forward, and like what's your vision of live music after this, really, like?
I do think that there are a lot of venues I know in Ottawa that are just trying to get back to the normal.
Hmm.
Like Live on Elgin, one of my favorite venues. They're already trying to book into like closer to the end of summer because hopefully people will be vaccinated and numbers will be down. Um, and of course, with the promise of if you're still not comfortable and like something happens and COVID is just like still hanging on and doing its thing, like you can back out, like it'll be fine.
Hmm.
um, I feel like there are venues that are really, really, really trying to get back to normal, and they've got this whole system of like spaced out tables to still keep things safe as much as they can, and buying all of your tickets in advance, and if you can, like placing drink orders in advance or having sticky notes so there's literally no contact in between servers and customers.
Yeah.
um, and I think it's going to have to be like that for a while. I think, yes, I do think this strain of COVID is coming down with the vaccinations, and that's incredible. And I love that that's a thing. But we still need to account for the variants, and we also need to account for the fact that if you have the vaccine, you can still get COVID and you can still spread COVID. And herd immunity herd immunity can only go so far, especially if it's not a guaranteed thing. I just think it'll get better, but I don't think it's just going to magically disappear. And I think
Hmm.
things are going to still have to be distanced and spaced out. And there's going to still be that plastic sheet in front of you while you're
Yeah.
performing for a little while longer, which is, it is what it is. But I mean, as long as we have live music again, I think I'll be pretty happy. um,
Yeah, and I think like just, you know, by I was working with the painting lady, and we still there was still some decent weather, right? So they had the luxury of like a front sidewalk that they turned into kind of a patio, and then the back area that was in a patio. So like my thinking with a lot of live venues is like they can adapt, you know, like
mhm.
especially if you have a parking lot, you can kind of like fence the area and space people out, maybe even bring monitors out there and a TV, so you're like kind of close to the band. I think, yeah, it's gonna have to be like a tippy toe thing, you know, where you slowly see, and then, you know, people's comfort and all that stuff, and but I think, yeah, like moving forward, and maybe this like this piece, this technology it could help, you know what I mean, because there's not everybody can get there or everybody's comfortable with being there. So if they see artists at a venue, they'll tune in and, you know, maybe donate or buy your music or stuff like that. So I think it's going to be part of live venues moving forward, and things like places like small coffee shops and like smaller venues are kind of gonna thrive, I think, moving uh after out of this, you know, where they can adapt and
I hope so, based on how many venues had to close during this, which is
mm,
heartbreaking.
a
So many of
lot.
my
Yeah.
favorite places had to be shut down due to COVID, but hopefully things will start coming back. I don't know.
How about the what's the one, the Rainbow Bistro? Are they
They're still
okay?
good. I think they're still running.
They're one
The
of
one
the name brand ones, kind of, right? Yeah.
Pressed had to close, which was heartbreaking. They're one of my
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
favorites. But they're being bought. They actually got bought by Oat Couture, which is the oat cafe, like oatmeal
Okay.
cafe.
Yeah.
And they plan to try to keep the music scene alive with that venue. Like they don't want to get rid of the stage or anything. So fingers crossed that pans out and everything. Um, I'm still sad about Bar Robo closing in Chinatown.
Yeah, that was another staple, right? That was
That wasn't due
yeah,
to COVID though. They decided to close in January of last year.
gotcha.
So they just wanted to close and assimilate into the one location they had on Queen Street Fair. But I just loved that Bar Robo. I had performed there so many times. I had met so many people through that place, and that was just the most quaint little stage in all of Ottawa. Um, with its like cute light behind and the big couch. Like I just thought it was such a sweet place to have to close that part down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's yeah, I know it's sad, and a few places closed here, and I was just getting going in Ottawa too. I was just getting some momentum going, and I they just finished like the infrastructure too. It was like those rail lines, those LRTs, and it was so easy to go in and out of Ottawa. It's like I took a bus from Peterborough, and then I got to the venue, and then leaving Ottawa was so easy to get on the Via from the transit, and then just literally go to Montreal. It was. I was like, I could do this on a good budget, and it was my first tour that I finally came out with plus money. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
I came out in the plus, and I was like, all right, I can do this. I can do this on a low budget and make it work, you know. And but it's all, you know, it's all experience, and it's all part of like uh you're gonna take that with you as you move forward, and you know, adjust and adapt, right? And I I'm optimistic. You know, I think, and I also think that people are hungry for live music, and I think there's going to be a much stronger appreciation for our artists in Toronto. I hope at least. I mean Canada. Um, I hope at least, you know, a strong appreciation for the artists, and I've been talking with a lot of artists about this too, and I feel a consensus that the venues weren't great to the artists a lot, you know, and I started like really seeing that as just started going to the States, you know, and then it's like their appreciation for music there is just another, like it's another echelon of and the and it's like in Canada, it's like you do all the advertising, like the artist, you do all the advertising, you got to bring all the people, you're responsible for everything, da 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 da. And in the States, it's like they're doing it, they're taking care of everything. You just show up, they give you some money, they give you free beer, and it's like, I was like, whoa, this is what it's like. It's like, but I hope moving forward, there's a stronger appreciation for the artist, and the artist comes first. You know, it's like so with the venue, and I hope the venue can get behind some better advertising and some newer social media to, you know, help us promote our shows. And I think, you know, with a lot of artists getting into stuff like this over the last year and a half too, I think artists have more power now to like reach people. You know, they can do a live broadcast from some of the venues, and I think it's going to be a good thing where it's like, um, you know, somebody sees the live broadcast every 3 Fridays in a row live in the Elgin, and they're like, oh shit, I haven't been there for a while. I think I'll go on a Friday night. You know, I like that artist. I've heard that, or they're out and about and they just see like a, a little message on their phone, and they're like, live at 8 o'clock, these four artists, and like, oh, it's just like half an hour away. I'm just around the corner. So I hope that this technology helps enhance the live experience, and make it kind of like the place to be. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
like I'm missing out. I got to go be part of that, and not only like bring musicians together. I think it's going to help bring, you know, people that are in media, you know, for music as well, that do podcasts, that do magazines, that do a bunch of stuff. So and we can help each other. You know what I mean? There's graphic artists. There's the there's artists, there's a visual artists. Like I think it's all an an opportunity to build more community. You know what I mean? Within the arts, that we all need each other. Kind of a way we need videographers, we need editors, we need tech people. We need everybody needs each other to build this platform up, right? And I think the musician is is the one it's going to be centered around now too, and you know help give us a little more of a global audience, right? And
Hmm.
we got some great talent here in Canada. It's like
I know.
crazy amazing artists,
It's
and
crazy.
it'd be nice to be able to just harness some income here for us, and so we don't have to really go anywhere. It's like, but
Exactly.
yeah,
But I do agree with you. I do think that this pandemic is going to show as like a nice little shining light on the hidden gems that is live music.
yeah,
Um, and like, yeah, I do wish venues kind of work the way they do in America, where they just like show up with your instrument and give us a good old time. I think that would be great. Um, yeah, I think that would be great. I know it's not the same thing, but I kind of love the Rainbow Bistro for the fact that their speakers actually go to the sidewalk outside, so people who are walking by can hear what's going on inside, and they can hear the Rainbow Bistro.
yeah,
Oh, my heart. I miss that place.
yeah,
And they can hear what's going on, so they don't have to blindly trust just showing up and hopefully liking the music, because I know that stops a lot of strangers from going to random shows. They just don't want to
yeah,
get caught in a show that they're not enjoying and pay the money for door and like have a
yeah.
night that they don't enjoy themselves. So I think I love that Rainbow Bistro connects those speakers outside, because they can kind of hear what's happening, and if they're interested, they can come on in, pay door, and see if they just like want to hang out for a little while. And I feel like that should be a common thing for most venues, especially if you have to bring your own people. That just gives you a little bit more of a chance of having new people find your music, which
I agree, and
I love
like,
support. It's incredible to have the running support that you do with all of your friends and the people who love your music and come to every show. And I would not trade the world for those people. But it's so hard getting your music out there to new people and just having
yeah,
people check you out. I find that to be such an impossible task.
and like you said, if it's something that could lure somebody in walking by, it's nice to get a random, fan coming in and just like surprisingly seeing you, and they had no intention in coming in, and stuff. And yeah, I think venues can, um, thrive on something like that to help them lure people in and stuff like that. But yeah, it's that show this show was a lot of fun, and we also incorporated a great MC from Ottawa, Bella Cat, and I reached out to her before, and she came through and just crushed the show there. And I think she moved after she's out in Nelson now in
Mm.
BC, and I think I was talking to her after she moved, and I was like, "Hey, I'm starting to plan some shows out west, and I'll hook up with you when we get out there. Maybe we can do like a little mini, like Nelson Kamloops kind of leg together, like a 3 tour leg." And she was all down. It was like we were ready to go. We were like ready to do some stuff up, but whatever. But I'm glad I got all this in, like before all that, and met so many amazing artists around the country. And that's what I kind of want to do with this, is just keep rehash it, and just start building up that communication again and that relationship. And so when things get going again, I can hit the road, and we can start doing some shows again, and doing some mini tours. And but yeah, it's a so you had your first EP came out, and that was just kind of like a year prior to the pandemic, really? Was it around that time?
It was in the end of 2018, so it would have
Yes.
been just leading into the pandemic.
Yeah. And you're working on some new stuff, or you said you were
I
starting to...
am. It's
That's
been
exciting.
quite a while. I released my EP and I love it, but it was also, you know, when you do your first ever project, you just don't know what to expect and it kind of hits you. And then once and then once you finally like release it and everything and you understand the weight of that project and how much that defines you, like it's your baby and you hold it near and
It's your
dear and
first project. It
it's
defines you as
the
an
first
artist.
thing,
Yeah.
but you also look at it and you're like, there is so much stuff I should have done for this. Like I dropped every single ball I was handed for this project. And like I do think it's important to definitely do a bit of research going into it. I just don't think I understood how much research I should have been doing. So, yeah, I love it. I love my Signs of Pink Till Morning. I will always remember those 3 days I spent in the studio just riling up the first songs I ever wrote together and just trying to understand what I wanted for them. And then I remember the release party like the back of my hand. It was so sweet. It was at this little patio place on Elgin Street. Um, it was interesting. I had quite a few people show up and I had some of my friends join me for opening acts, just friends who I sing with quite often, come up and sing a couple covers with me, and I think it was such an incredible time. But following that, I struggled to find affordable options to record my music and I don't have very much knowledge on that. So I would find a friend to help me out, but then ideas would clash and I just wouldn't be very happy with the way that it was going because I have such a strong idea of what I want for my songs.
Hmm.
Not to say that I'm not welcoming for criticisms. I love to hear what other people's ideas are, but when it comes to the point where I feel like I'm hurting their feelings, being like, this isn't at all what I envisioned, I kind of want more of this sound. If you have anything that you think would sound good with like what I'm thinking of for this, I would love to do that. For example, your idea of getting nature noises in the background of my nature love song. It's truly not something I even thought of, but I think that's the most incredible idea. And I've been trying to plan out where I'm going to go to get these noises and where I want like a waterfall in the song or where I want chirping birds in the song. And I love ideas that fit into what I
Yeah.
believe I want for the song. But I had people give me ideas where they're like, it would sound really great with this kind of a weird instrument in it or this kind of a background drum beat and I'm just like this
Yeah.
doesn't fit into what I
It's not what I'm thinking. Yeah.
imagine. And
Yeah.
I'm also a bit of a people pleaser, so I do think it's on me where I'm just like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
It's a tough balance. Yeah.
But then it's also my music and I want it to represent who I am. So I have done the exciting other option of deciding to learn how to produce music myself.
Yes.
I'm super new at it, and I'm currently working on producing my first ever single by myself.
Yeah.
It's in the very, very, very early stages of it. I have laid down my acoustic guitar track and I have ideas for all of the instruments I want in it and where I want them. And of course, I still need to go get my nature noises, um,
There'll be a
which
lot of
I
good weather for that soon. So, yeah.
I'm in Mississauga and I have access to a car, so I'm thinking I might even drag my brother out to some nice places in the Kitchener area. I've heard there are some gorgeous hiking trails and maybe we
Great
could just do
nature.
a day of
Yeah.
it.
All around. Guelph too. Guelph, Kitchener around that. Lots and lots of, yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So maybe just make a nice little day of it where it's sunny, do a couple of hiking trails, get some noises onto Logic, which again, a huge thank you to you for. I
No
have
problem.
been on Logic so much just trying to figure
Yes.
out what it
Yes.
does. um and I had a moment where I was like really worried it wasn't going to work with my computer because every time I'd record my guitar, it was this weird like electric buzzing noise that came instead of my guitar. And then I restarted my computer and it fixed itself. So, in the clear.
99% of the things with tech, and I've been working in broadcasting for 20 years, and mostly it's turn it on, turn it off. That's like usually, uh,
Control
um,
delete, control alt
yeah,
delete.
exactly. Get out and in. Um, I'm really glad you said that about like your what you want as an artist. That's really important as a young artist to like reiterate what your vision is. And it's good to take in ideas and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's your baby and it's your project and it's your representation of who you are as an artist. So yeah,
It's
it's
also the
very
thing, like,
intent.
producers aren't gonna be in your life, like, forever and ever. A lot of the time, you're just working with them, and you wanna
Hmm.
get along, and you wanna make sure ideas balance up. But if you take these ideas that you're not 100% on, every time you listen back to your music, you're not gonna be happy with it. You're gonna have that
No.
moment where you cringe or you, like, get really down that you added that, because I know I'm the kind of person to listen to my own music and be like, God, I wish I did this here. And if there's an idea like that, I would just sit on it forever.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean because and and here's the other thing about like what you said earlier about like you listen to it after and like, "Oh my god, I should have done this and done that." But the important thing is like that you completed it. You know what I mean? You completed it, you learned, and you're moving on. I think like my first album, there was a ton of things after I list. I'm like, oh man, I could have done that with the vocals. I could have spent more time tweaking the vocals and stuff like that. But I was happy with it because it's like that was my first project. I put it out, and then the second one, I was so much more better, you know, and my production went up, and it was the album I really wanted, you know. It was the one that I really took full control of, and I was like, it was really hard because it was taking in a lot of people's ideas, and I brought in a lot of other producers as well, and then the same thing. You like after that one's completed, I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff that I could have finished, but each project you do, you improve each time going into it. Again, you've learned all those things, and then so you're like sharpening all your skills going into it. And then the third one now, you know, I've just completed the third one in December, and it's like I've noticed that, and even people listening to me, it's like, whoa, man, I've noticed that the rhymes are tighter, you know, the lyrics are getting tighter, the production's tighter. So you just go up another notch each time you make an album. And now I've like, because I was the type that was so much like, I need to do it all myself. I need to have like my hands on everything. I need the control of everything. I've started to ease off that a bit, right? So it's like, and I'm bringing in some younger cats, you know, and I want to get involved with some younger producers, younger MCs, and stuff like that. So, and I'm just letting them kind of, I'm soaking up what they're giving too, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like I'm remembering what it was like to go through that at that age as well. So, and it's a nice, you know, give and take kind of, you know. And now I've been working with this producer in Ohio, and he's just been like giving me beats nonstop. So that's allowed me to like relax on the production of the instrumentals, and I've been able to focus on songwriting, and I've just been bleh, like tons and tons of songs I've written over the last year. I've got like two massive books of songs, like probably about 100 different songs I've put out, and those will get shaved down to like making the cut, you know.
Of
Uh,
course.
but I'm glad I just like I got it out of me, you know what I mean? Just to like see how much I could do and to get almost to get into it like a nice rhythm of not worrying about like taking something and just having to like massage it all the way, but just like a consistent pattern of just making stuff, just continually
Exactly.
making and making and
Creative
making and
thought process. Just keep
yeah. And
having that.
that gets you, that improves you too by like not worrying about refining it, but just keep going, keep giving yourself like a routine of just like making and making and making and just like writing and writing and writing. And yeah, I feel like I've grown as a songwriter and you know, with my flow and style and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm super stoked to hear what you're gonna come out with in another album. Just like all these, it's this is such a crazy time. It's like people are gonna have so many amazing albums coming out of this. Of just like, and like you said, there's so much. Even myself, like there was a lot of self reflection. So that like these albums are gonna be so personal. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There's going to be so much like reflection and self growth and like, you know,
It's
healing and
actually
stuff like that.
a little bit of a fear of mine. So
Me too.
I
Yeah.
love writing about self growth and personal little stories that I just want to share with the world because why not? Um, and I do have quite a few really, really, intimate, intense songs. But then on the other end, I also have songs like the one I'm trying to produce myself, which is a nature love song. And it truly has the vibe of that moment when you go on a really beautiful hike and you reach the peak and you completely glaze over. You like zone out into a whole other world and you're present, but you're not present. And it's literally that feeling of just staring into nature and not being mentally present and just enjoying the fact that you can kind of float above it all. But the way that comes off is it's not a very intimate song and it's not a very like I'm telling you about this heart-wrenching experience I've been through. It's very lighthearted and it's very much like I'm using all of these nature metaphors and I'm just singing about all of the beautiful things of nature that I love getting into. And it kind of scares me because there are so many incredible artists that are coming out with music right now, but they're all done about heartbreak or love or some type of like this experience that everybody goes through. And
Hmm.
it worries me that people are going to be like, this means nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Because
Yeah.
it is
I love your theme going forward because to me, that's where most of my writing has come from for me is being in nature. And I'm mad fortunate to go to Italy a lot. And in the beginning, like my 30, from 30 to like 40, I've been like 7 times Italy. And this first album, where's it? This one, I only had like a few instrumentals done and I had a few ideas, and then I went to Italy and the whole freaking thing came out. Like all the writing came out for me. And then the second time I did all these tour all around Europe and stuff like that, and most of my writing came from being on the train and then all that stuff. And a lot of it just came after the fact. Like a couple of times when I was on the plane on the way home, that's where most of my writing came out. It was just like, oh, geez, I had this experience and then it's making me feel this way. And so I just went nuts on the plane and wrote all these songs. But I think this one is a different experience because it's like it's not the experience I'm getting externally, it's the experience I'm getting internally. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And nature is such an integral part to that for me as well. So it's like for me to connect with nature again in the beach, I'm really close to the beach. So that really brought out a lot in not really personal songs, but I feel like this album, this fourth album that's going to come out for me, it's like the theme is kind of like my connection to the universe. You know what I mean? It's like my part. You know what I mean? It's like it's I feel like really connected now, and I feel focused, and I feel like this is the everything's numbers to me. Like it's like I just turned 42. This is gonna be my fourth album, and it just feels like it's the everything all together in the four elements. You know, it just everything is just like working out, and it just feels so natural. It just feels so
Kind of one of those moments where
organic. You
you're like,
know, like
no, I don't believe in my horoscope. It's confirmation bias. But then you end up actually reading a horoscope that's telling you exactly what you need to hear. And you're like, this is weird. I can't think about that.
numbers always show up to me like that. It's weird to me. Like weird numbers like that are like signs, like little clues that you're on the right track.
Oh,
You know what I mean? There's like little reassurances. You know what I mean? It's like I've looked back on how like I didn't even realize it, but every album I've released was been released on the 18th. I didn't even realize that.
oh,
Like my first album I released on the I think 2011 on the 18th of December, and then the second one I did on August 18th, and then this one I released on December 18th again. I had no idea. I didn't plan it like that, and just like that's when it was ready, and it just these numbers locked together, you know,
mhm.
and it's all just part of like that whole bigger picture together. And when you just keep pushing and you keep pushing and you just keep refining it and refining it, it just starts like filling in the blanks of the whole picture of what
Yeah.
you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, fuck, that's why I had to like walk across Paris for 4 hours and like hand out my CDs to people and like do all that legwork and all that stuff. All of that stuff is integral to like the bigger picture. So like I said, I love that like before the show hang time. You know, to me that's like that's such an important part of this community of like this relationship you have with other artists outside of your city. You know what I mean? It's those moments that where you kind of like you find out about each other and realize that we're all kind of like in the same boat. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I miss that a lot. I miss that kind of hanging out and just like before the show and but we'll get there eventually. But I know you have a short amount of time. You're doing a lot of press tonight. We got about 8 minutes, I guess, before you want to get out at 8. Do you want to play a song for us, or are
I
you
would
ready?
love to play a song.
Awesome. And oh, before you mentioned before your trio, right? You have the
Hmm.
Golden Hour and
Golden Hour.
two other artists with you. Is three artists
Three in total.
and
We're a little trio. So far, we've been doing covers, and what we like to focus on are really beautiful arrangements. So we put a lot of pressure on, or a lot of attention towards the harmonies that we do, and
mhm.
cool timing things, and our style that'll set us apart from other covers, just to establish our style in general. But hopefully, this is the summer that we write our first single together. And by then, I can produce it.
Well, I'm really looking forward to that, and I think I caught a few of your things on Instagram where you had this cool little session where you were in front of a fireplace and you had like a I think it was a
Fireplace
fireplace, a mantle or
station.
something. You had like
Yeah.
these every once in a while you had other singers come in. It was kind of just like so raw and bare boned. It was just kind of like your vocals and another vocalist, and it was just like
It was
so
meant to be this
pure. It was really
one-time
nice. Yeah,
thing just to show like how artists who I barely work with or have barely sang with can just they show up, we choose a song, we run through it a couple times and figure out what we want to do, and then we just record.
love
And
it.
I just
I
I
love it.
miss
I love
that.
that spontaneity of it, right? And it's once we realize that's the language between us, that it's just easy to conversate, right? It's just easy
Exactly.
to kind of like. It's so nice to see you, and I'm so happy that you're like so enthusiastic about production and delving into that. And it's just do it, man. Just
It
get into
actually
it, and
felt like less, not less, but I think actually just over a year ago, I was playing a show at Bar Robo over a year ago. I guess right before they closed. It was my last show there. It was in December of 2019. Um, they forgot to hire a sound guy and they told me I could just rifle through the back and figure out how to set it up. And I had a full panic attack. I was like, I don't know how to make this work. I will just sing really loud, I guess, because I don't know what to set up. And I ended up messaging a bunch of my friends who have done sound before, being like, I will forever be in debt to you. Just please come to Bar Roba right now. I need help. I need so much help. To the fact that now, if I were to be put in that position, I'd be like, all right, don't bring anybody. I think I can figure it out.
that's great, man. If you can do that as an artist, that's a huge advantage. And I have many stories like that. There was a bar in Portland that they're like, yeah, there's no sound person and we don't even have a mixer. So it's like, but I worked through it. Like you get it done, and no matter what. And big ups to you for that and that drive to never quit on the show. So that's gonna go a long way for you, and I wish you all the best. And we'll get in touch soon again too, and definitely play a live show together eventually. But we got time for one song, I guess.
Yeah. Got my guitar ready to go. I guess I'll sing the most recent song that I've written. Um, So this is where the pandemic started getting to me. And I love that it did because I love this song so much and I like cannot believe I didn't think of doing this before. But anybody who knows me knows that I am one of the biggest Friends fanatic in the entire world. I love that TV show. It is the definition of comfort to me. Just I know how every episode goes. I can quote lines like to a T. When Quiz Up was a thing when I was in high school, I was a level like 69 for Friends. I had made it
Watch
so
out.
far. And Friends is just like it's just that one show. Everybody's kind of got that
Yeah, it
one
just
show.
makes you feel like you're comfortable,
Better.
right? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
I'm
chicken
like that
noodle
with
soup with lipstick, you know?
South Park. I think that's mine. Yeah, like that.
Yeah. So I kind of started having this one conversation quite a bit with my friends where we were like, God, we wish we lived in like the setting of Friends where we're all just in Manhattan and going to the coffee shop all the time and just
Yeah.
hanging out whenever we wanted. And like the same thing goes for Sex in the City. I had a friend being like, how I wish it was 1 o'clock on a Wednesday and we were just grabbing Cosmos. And I was like, that is the dream.
Sounds like
So
fun.
I ended up writing a song about what it would be like to just live inside Friends for that to be
Nice.
life.
That's
And
cool.
I'm calling the song Rerun.
I like it.
Hmm,
I
thank
like it.
you. So this is that.
Here we go. It's Neha Sin.
I'd like to live in an apartment with all my closest friends. We could go to our spot for our favorite coffee blends. Let's sing all of my music. I wouldn't do it for the fame. I'd do it for the waitress who knows my name. We'd waste our time together as we're chasing down our dreams. We would spend our Thanksgiving on rival football teams. We would dedicate our 20s to the quest to find the one. Our dates, our lives on permanent rerun. And I would walk across the hallway to see you with dinner ready on the table and a gold Manhattan view. The TV plays, it's the days of our lives at night. We're stuck in second gear, just searching for a sign. And some nights we just can't cook, so I guess we'll order in. We'll get really drunk together. You could get married again. And we'll all just quit our jobs so we can maybe feel the fear when it's not our day, our week, our month, or even our year. We'll compete and we'll make bets until the stakes are raised too high. But of course I'm gonna win, so why do you bother trying? You know I'm there for you. When the rain it starts to pour, when we're low we'll find the love we're searching for. And I would walk across the hallway to see you with dinner ready on the table and a gold Manhattan view. The TV plays, it's the days of our lives at night. We're stuck in second gear, just searching for a sign. And I could walk across the hallway to be with you with dinner ready on the table and our gold Manhattan view. The TV plays, it's the days of our lives at night. We're stuck in second gear, just searching for a sign. Always in second gear and waiting for our line.
Thank you so much. That's a great song. That's nice and comforting because that's such a good lockdown song. It's like to have a neighbor that's I can relate to that
It's like your
because
best friend. Like you just always see your friends and you're just always in that mindset of like living in the best city in the world and you know, having because I feel like something that doesn't really get talked about is how lonely your 20s can get and how many friends you lose and you're not in school anymore so you don't get to easily just make friends the way you once did. To actually
Yeah,
make friends, you have to seek people, find them, and solidify a friendship, which is even harder in the pandemic. So I think it's just like, it's one of those songs to be like, yeah, to have that close group that you just always want to see and you always want to talk about and you just basically live together. It's
that's
kind of
great. That's such a great
imagery.
perspective. I like that. And kudos to you to do something positive and something like thinking positive like that, because there's so much hardship with this and isolation and like so many tough things going on. So it's like to look at a positive view from it is great. And, I take a lot away from that as well. From I just like hearing other people's perspectives. It's helping me myself too, and I had a tough time myself, being alone at home for, a whole pandemic as well. And we're all going through this and this I'm trying to be like this thing that we can be together, kind of virtually, and just keep this music community together. And I thank you so much for being a part of this tonight. It's been a great
Thank you for
chat,
having
and man, an hour just goes by like that,
me.
and it's
What?
just. But I wish you all the best, and I'm so excited to hear what you can come up with and produce, and I can't wait to hear those nature sounds.
Thank
And
you. Me too.
yeah, yeah, um, yeah. So all the best, and enjoy Saga.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been so lovely. Hope you're enjoying Scarborough.
I'm great. I love the beaches out here. It's fun,
Or
and
mine too.
it's now that the weather's on our side. Had a little picnic with a friend today, and now hopefully get the beach towel out soon and get to the beach. Get a little get the
Tan.
milky whites tanned a bit.
Oh my god,
But
incredible.
thank
Yeah,
you so
thank you
much.
so much
Have a
for having
great
me.
evening, and have a great night.
You
Sure.
too.
Peace. Oh, that was such a pleasure, Neha. Thank you so much for joining me. And, we're just going to keep it short and sweet tonight. And eventually, I think moving forward, I'm just going to have one guest. I like this. Last couple of weeks, I've had two guests, and I feel like I've rushed the first guest to get into the next guest. We had so much to talk about. And this just feels so much more organic to just kind of like have one guest and not pressure myself. And I think it's gonna be 8 o'clock now for me moving forward. And then every Saturday I have live on Instagram. I perform my whole album, and that's just for me to kind of like stay on top and like just keep myself engaged in doing my own songs and learning my own songs. So when I eventually can perform them, then I'm not a complete wreck on stage. But yeah, Sunday nights also, I do a show with my buddy Paul, and we kind of recap our artists that we featured here tonight. And we bring in other artists, and Paul's all the way up in Fort McMurray. And so he's been tapping into the artists up there. And we're really touching on some like artists that you would never think of or that don't have any reach. So, and the second half of the show, I'm really bringing rappers together from all over the world. I got my buddy in Germany, and I'm starting to get some more rappers. And Jay, I'm going to reach out to you in Ottawa, and you're going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. So I can't wait to get him involved. He's a smoking hot rapper in Ottawa, and he came out with a new video, just pure fire. So very looking forward to working with a lot of young rappers and producers, and it's a lot of fun. You should check us out. And thank you so much, Neha, for being a part of this tonight, and looking forward to more music from you. This is Focus here, and Have a great night, everybody, and peace.